What is up, guys? Happy New Year's for a lot of you guys that have been waiting around for me to finally post a video. I've been away on a lot of different vacations throughout the weeks that I've been gone. So now I have finally have time to finally shoot a video for you guys in Tengu Plant. So for you guys the strange things that I've noticed is that there's a severe lack of Dragunities in Tengu Plant format, which is kind of weird because you would think that a deck that can generate level 8 synchros on the first turn would be a good deck. Granted, you do have to waste about 2 cards in order to make one synchro, because the Dragon Ravine, you have to pitch a card out of your hand, and the Dragon Ravine doesn't do anything else for the turn, so it just sits there as a sort of like a engine that you can use on your following turn to convert the card that you draw or a card in your hand into a card that turns into a synchro monster that's level 8. But for some reason, Dragunity isn't seeing much play in the metagame, and I find that pretty peculiar because even though Agents is a very dominant deck in the format, we have to kind of wonder why is it that Dragunities, which can spam out levels, not they don't spam out level 8 synchros, but every turn they're able to bring out one synchro monster. How is it that a deck that can do that isn't doing so well in the format? And so I try to tackle on some of the issues that the deck may inherently have to try to make it more competitive. Maybe the right build hasn't been out there, or maybe the ideas of Dragunity has just become obsolete because MST is at 3 in this format. So if you're going second and you try to activate a Ravine and you try to pitch a card out of your hand to search or dump, using the Dragon Ravine effect, then they could just chain the MST and then you would generate a 2-for-1. So you had to find a way to make sure that that doesn't happen on to you. So because in Tengu Plant format there is Heavy Storm and 3 MSTs, that means you can also use 3 MSTs and Heavy Storm to basically destroy your opponent's back rows, so that when you try to resolve the Dragon's Ravine, then you're safe from doing their effects. So it has really good going second applications if you are able to see your spell and trap removal to remove the MST face down, or even a trap card that stops your duck search. So I'm gonna go into the deck profile really quick and to show you kind of the theory that I worked on while I was deciding to make Dragunities. So the deck that uses the upstart theory. I believe wholeheartedly that if you don't see your Dragon's Ravine in your deck, then you have a hard time winning the game. So being able to make your deck 38 7 cards as opposed to 40 is the idea of the deck. To be able to see your Dragon's Ravine. If you don't see your Dragon's Ravine, then you're having a hard time winning the game. So in this format, Thunder King Ryle is very prevalent. Because Thunder King Ryle is very prevalent, that also means that people are going to either side deck it or main deck it. So it'll shut off all your searching cards. So I do play the 3 terraformings in order for me to search for the Dragon's Ravine, because without the Dragon's Ravine, again, you cannot play your deck to its maximum potential, because in order for you to win in this deck, you have to be able to resolve this effect. If you don't resolve this effect, then maybe you're lucky enough to dump the phalanx in the graveyard, and then summon the ducks by hard drawing it, and then being able to make the level 8 synchro. So even though there are some games where you don't open up with this, it is possible to actually have the ducks in the phalanx combo. It is a 2-card combo. You do have to have the phalanx in the graveyard somehow, so that's why I decided to play the Foolish Burial as well as the Card of Consonants. These cards are really important in order to set up your ducks. So if you do have the ducks in Foolish Burial turns into a level 8 synchro. If you have the Card of Consonants, and then you have both the phalanx and the ducks in your hand, or if you don't even have ducks in your hand and you activate Card of Consonants to discard your phalanx, the phalanx will go to the graveyard, and you can normal summon your ducks that you either drew into or had in your hand to be able to make a level 8 synchro. And then those are the setup cards in my deck. So I'm gonna go over the main deck stuff. So the main deck stuff that you play in this deck is going to be, of course, you're going to be playing the 3 ducks. So for you guys that know, Dux has the ability, if it's normal summon, you can equip a phalanx from the graveyard to him, and he gets 200 attack for every Dragunity card on the field. So that includes the equipped spell, the equipped Dragunity card, because if you do so, then you can actually run into a Thunder King Ryo. Granted, if you do decide to do that move, then you have to crash your ducks into the Thunder King Ryo, because this is only going to gain 400 attack from itself, and as well as the phalanx that is equipped to it. So just an FYI for ducks to be able to run over Thunder King. To make it bigger than Thunder King, you do have to have a Monster Reborn in this hand. So that's why I play the Monster Reborn. In the event that I have a Dragunity in the graveyard, I can activate and resolve this effect to be able to put another Dragunity on the field so that this Dux becomes a 2100 attack monster that you can attack over Thunder King. Other applications that are mainly used from Reborn is if your Dux gets Veilered on the normal summon to equipped, then you can use the Reborn to reborn the Phalanx out of the graveyard and then continue to plays. The Dragunity archetype has a main deck card to be able to circumvent the Veiler, and that's Mistleton. However, I found that Mistleton is a card that requires another Dragunity on the field in order for you to special summon them. So if you've already used Ducks, let's say hypothetically, you have the Mistleton in your hand and you summon Ducks and they don't have a response to it, that Mistleton becomes a -1 because now you don't have a way to be able to bring out the Synchro monster. That Mistleton doesn't need to do anything. It just sits there in your hand until it does something. So it's kind of like a counter side strategy that doesn't do anything if they don't have the outs to Ducks. So I decided to cut the Mistleton because with the Reborn at least, you can actually revive other monsters, including your opponent's monster. Whereas Mistleton, you have to use it on a Dux to be able to make a level 8 synchro. So that's the other application of Monster Reborn. I know that Gravekeepers is a very popular deck in Tengu Plan format, and the reason being is because of Necro Valley shutting off the Ducks. However, you have to realize in this game, or in Tengu Plan format, when you have a replacement field spell, when you activate the second field spell and they have the Necro Valley, this outs out the Necro Valley. So even though the Necro Valley does theoretically stop your deck from equipping the Phalanx, you do have the Ravines to replace the field spell so that they lose their field spell. And that's really useful about Dragunities. So you don't have to worry about Necro Valley shutting you out. You also have the Terraforming to be able to search for your Ravine in the event that you want to replace their field spell. Of course, you have to play the 3 Phalanx because the reason why you play 3 in this deck is because you want to see it with Card of Consonance. You also want to see it in the event that you don't have Ravine or access to Ravine. So if Phalanx is in your hand, you can either dump it off with Card of Consonance, or you can somehow just set him and then he dies. And then the following turn, you can summon your normal the Ducks and make a level 8 synchro. So that's why you play 3 of them. No need to run any more, or no need to run less because although it could be cloggy if you draw more than 1 copy and no way to dump it. It's just the decks. There's no way to circumvent that. So you need to play 3 copies of this so that you could send it off to the graveyard with Card of Consonance. And then I play the 2 Legionnaire. So Legionnaire in this format, they still have Floodgate monsters such as Vanity's Fiend, Fossil Dyna, and even like pesky Floodgate cards that might interrupt this deck. I know Rivalry of Warlords can actually stop this deck because these guys are all Winged Beast monsters. So if you equipped a Phalanx to one of the Winged Beasts and you try to unequip the Phalanx, well, Phalanx is a Dragon type, and also the Dux is a Winged Beast, as well as the Legionnaire is a Winged Beast. And because they're both Winged Beasts, the Rivalry would actually hurt you. So you need Legionnaire in the deck so that you can equip the Phalanx and then use the Legionnaire effect to destroy a face-up card on the field. So that's what's really cool about this particular strategy. By using Legionnaire, you don't have to use the battle phase in order to get rid of a monster. Legionnaire also allows you to access TG Hyper Librarian. So if you can stick a TG Hyper Librarian on the field, and then the following turn, if the Librarian sticks on the board, then you can normal summon the Ducks, and then you can actually draw 2 cards because you're synchro summoning 2 times when you resolve the Ducks into the Vadriana, and the Vadriana goes into level 8. And then the TG Hyper Librarian draws you 2 cards, and hopefully you're going to be able to see your interruption spells and traps. To out the Thunder King Ryle, I also played Card Trooper. Card Trooper access 2 things. It becomes a 1900 monster, which you can crash into a Thunder King Ryle and draw a card. If they have a response to the attack, such as if you're playing Hero Beat, for example, and they activate Hero Blast or Gemini Spark to destroy your Card Trooper, then you get to at least draw a card and dig deeper into your deck to see the cards you want. The second application of this is that you might randomly mill a Dragunity Phalanx. By having the Dragunity Phalanx in the graveyard, then you can have access to Legionnaire to be able to pop the Thunder King Ryle, or Dux to be able to synchro summon doing it that way. So that's how you're able to circumvent the Thunder King Rao is the Card Trooper. Card Trooper is in this format is at 2, and because it's at 2, I contemplated playing 2, but I don't want to play too many things that compete with the normal summons. The normal summons are always going to be Dux and Legionnaire, and so you don't want to compete with the normal summons. So having the Card Trooper, it's a really nice out to that. Another card I play is Zephyros. People don't know about this, but the cool thing about Zephyros is that if you do open up with this card in your hand, you can actually activate Ravine and then ditch the Zephyros to search for your failings. From there, you're going to use the Zephyros effect to return the Ravine, and then special summon the Zephyros, and then normal summon the Phalanx. And this is basically the same amount of cards you invested had you not had the Zephyros in your hand. This way, you're able to make 4 synchros, 4 level 8 synchros in a game, because actually no, you can only make 3 because of the Vadriana. But you can make 3 level 8 synchros easier because this becomes a Vadriana, and the Vadriana turns into a level 8 synchro. Okay, so those are all my setup cards. To out the Thunder King Ryo, I decided to play the Dark Hole to be able to basically destroy the whole board if need be, and then you could just do your plays. If there's a Thunder King on the in the way, just Dark Hole it and then just do your play. Same with Heavy Storm. Heavy Storm is an interesting one, but the cool thing about this deck is that you can discard any card. So theoretically, you can discard any card that's really good, but also dead in certain situations. And Heavy Storm might be one of those situations where your opponent doesn't have any back row, and you don't want to lose your Dragon's Ravine, so you can just discard the Heavy Storm in order to search a Dux and then be able to make your play. Or you could just use Heavy Storm if you're going second to be able to clear out the back row from MSTs or warnings, for example, and then be able to do your play from there. So that's kind of the idea why I play the Dark Hole and the Heavy Storm. So this deck is it's exactly 40 cards. So to count the number of interruptions in your deck, you need interruptions because interruptions is how you're going to protect your synchro monsters from being destroyed by either battle or by a card effect or by being banished, etc. So the cards you need in this deck is 2 Effect Veiler. You're going to need Effect Veiler to be able to negate Tour Guide so they don't make Leviathan Dragon on you. If you want them to bring out the Tour Guide into Leviathan Dragon, you can Veiler after they detach for the effect, and then it becomes a 2000 attack monster. It can't run over Stardust. I also have the 2 Max Cs because even though I've said that Max Cs shouldn't be main deck, the reason why you want to main deck Max C is because you have Dragon's Ravine. In the event that you're playing against Stun, for example, you can just ditch the Max C out of your hand, and then you can turn your Max C into a card that has utility. So that's why I condone playing Max C in the main deck. In the event that you're playing against a Synchro Heavy or a Special Summon Heavy deck, you do have the Ravine or in case you're playing against Stun, you have the Ravine to pitch away the cards that are really bad in that matchup to turn into something you need for like an engine. I play the Gores as well to be able to clap back in the event that they destroy your whole board. You want to be able to special summon the Gores, or if there's a Thunder King Ryo, you can special summon the Gores and be able to run over the Thunder King Ryo. Is the idea. This in tandem with the Effect Veiler allows you to make a level 8 Synchro with the token to be able to run over the Thunder King Ryo or force out the Thunder King Ryo so that you could pretty much be activating terraforming and search for the Dragon's Ravine. So those are my hand traps. I play the 3 MSTs. In the event that you are playing against a deck that doesn't play a lot of back row, again, you can have the same theory to be able to pitch the MST out of your hand, and then being able to convert the MST into a resource card that you need to be able to make the engine. Really cool plays you can do with MST is if in case you don't have an out to stop the Tour Guide until Leviathan Dragon, what you can do is activate the MST with Stardust out on target your Ravine, and then you can just chain your Stardust to negate your MST, and then this way you're able to protect your Stardust, and on the next turn you're going to activate the Ravine to search for a Dux or a Legionnaire, whatever you want, to be able to out the card that can deal with Stardust. Granted, you are going to be taking 2,500 damage if you do decide to do that line of play, and if you do decide to do that line of play, know that you're going to take a lot of damage doing that, but at least you're going to protect your Stardust, and your Stardust is actually going to protect your Dux from being destroyed by Bottomless Trap Hole, for example, or any sort of destruction cards that might stop your Dux play into the Synchro Monster that's going to run over the Leviathan Dragon. And the interruptive traps are going to be Warning and the Solemn Brigade, basically. No need to explain these. These are really good against every summon in the Tengu Plant format. And then we also have the Mirror Force 2 to be able to Mirror Force anything that's too big that Stardust can't run over, because you're going to be making Stardust pretty much 9 times out of 10 on the first turn or the second turn. And then you have your Dust Shoot. In the event that Dust Shoot is dead again, like I said, you can just pitch it off with a Ravine, and then you have the Book of Moon. So that's pretty much my standard Dragunity list to be able to out a lot of different things. So if you get Veiler, for example, then you have the Monster Reborn to be able to follow up. If you have, if they have Maxi, you can actually just stop special summoning and then rely on your traps to be able to defend against your opponent's following turn, your hand traps and your actual traps to be able to stop them from killing your monster. And granted, if you do have the Ducks out there, the Ducks is actually a 1700 monster, so just be careful that if you leave a 1700 monster out there, they can summon the Tengu, crash into the Ducks, and then make their own Ducks. Make their own Tengu, and then they can keep going. So, yeah, so that's the main deck. I'm going to go into the extra deck real quick. So extra deck, I have the 3 Stardust. You want Stardust because you also play Malefic, Stardust, Dragon in your side deck. So that's why I played 3. You can actually go into all 3 of them, all 3 are Stardust in a game because they're going to be destroyed pretty frequently because the Hyperion can just run it over in battle in that event. They're probably not going to attack over him, so that's fine. They're going to attack over him and then blow up on main phase 2. So you're going to need like Stardust with something to deal with Hyperion. To OTK, so people don't know this, but if you have Stardust out on the field, for example, and you summon a Dux, you can, let me just demonstrate it to you guys so you guys can see it visually. So say you have the Stardust out here, what you can do is normal summon the Dux, and then you can equip the Phalanx, and then you're going to unequip the Phalanx and then synchro summon into Vadriana. And then Vadriana is going to be able to equip the Phalanx once more. And they're going to unequip the Phalanx, and they're going to synchro summon the Stardust into the Trident Dragon. And then Trident Dragon can destroy 2 cards on the field, so on your side, and it'll attack number of times equal to the amount it is destroyed, plus 1. So if you destroy your Dragon's Ravine with the Trident Dragon, then you can have 1 extra attack. If you destroy Vadriana and put it in the graveyard, you can attack 3 times for game, or you can destroy a back row that you don't need. That's why I say that you can main deck Dust Shoot in this deck, because you can actually destroy the Dust Shoot, and then the Trident Dragon can attack 3 times, and it's really, really good in that scenario. So that's the combo play you could do for an OTK. Other cards I do play is the 3 Vadriana. Of course, you're going to need this card to make your level 8 synchros. So it's pretty much your gateway in order to make your synchro plays live. So you definitely need 3 of them. Another effect of what it does is you can send one of your equipped Dragunity monster, and it doubles his attack. So in the event that you're trying to run over a Hyperion, for example, that has like 3100 attack because of the Gachi, then you can make Vadriana and actually out the Hyperion using the Vadriana effect to double its attack for the turn. And then on the other cards I play is the Gay Dirge. This Gay Dirge is really useful in the side deck aspect of this in this game because it searches for either a Winged Beast or a Dragon type monster once per turn. And when you do that, you discard 1 Dragon type or Winged Beast monster. So I'll talk about this card more in when we get to the side deck portion of this. But just know that you can actually search for your Dragon type monsters. In the main deck, you could actually just probably play a card called Baby Rock. It says that if you discard this card, when this card is discarded from your hand, then you can special summon it. I don't believe it misses timing, but in case it does, then it probably doesn't do well. But what you can do is you can search for the Baby Rock and discard the Baby Rock. And it's a level 2 tuner that special summons itself when it's discarded, and they can use the Gay Dirge to synchro summon to level 8. That's just a way that you can make a level 8 synchro if you want to go that route instead of using the Vadriana. And then we have the Thought Ruler and the Colossal Fighter. This is my Machoke because it has the same pose. These are 2 dark monsters that you can use for. I'll show you in my side deck. But these are 2 other level 8 monsters that you can synchro summon into to run over Leviathan Dragon if it has 2500 attack. And if you're dodging the Leviathan Dragon by using MST with your Stardust to target your Ravine, then your Stardust can come back, and then the Ravine's going to actually be utilized to be used to synchro summon into these guys to run over the Leviathan Dragon, and then basically get your board control back. I also have the Scrap Dragon too, so in case you don't want to make these, you can make the Scrap Dragon. Scrap Dragon is useful, but you only need 1 of them in your deck. the level 6 synchros that you make are Brionac and Orient Dragon, because Dragunity doesn't lock you into Dragunity type monsters. So you can actually just make these guys, and then if you need them for any situation, Orient Dragon is really good against synchro docs, such as scraps. You can just banish their scrap dragon, and they won't be able to recur their scrap non-synchro monster from the graveyard. And then you have Brionac too as well against scraps. You can just discard and then out the card. But you're rarely gonna make this line of play because scrap dragon is just strictly better. And the level 5 synchros I play are Catastor and TG High Barbarian. I already talked about the play with TG High Barbarian, so there's no need to talk about that. Catastor is really good against heroes because they all have monsters that are not dark monsters. So yeah, that's the extra deck. I don't play the Chimera tech because I don't have room in my side deck for it. Let's go into my side deck. So I play the Call the Haunted as well as the Quakimaru Drago, because you can dump Drago off from your deck to the graveyard using either the Dragon's Ravine. Because Dragon Ravine has this other ability to be able to discard or send a dragon type monster. To be able to send a dragon type monster from your deck and then send it to the graveyard. Or if you have access to Gay Dirge, for example. So if you make Gay Dirge, you can actually search for the Quakimaru Drago and then send it to the graveyard. And then you can set your Call the Haunted. It's kind of the idea is why I decided to play the Call the Haunted. Also, this card is side decked because in case I don't play against Gravekeepers, in case I play against a deck that doesn't use Graveyard Hate, then you have to Call the Haunted to be able to revive the Quakimaru Drago. And the Quakimaru Dragon should theoretically shut off Chaos decks as well as the Agent decks as well. And then the only downside is that you have to reveal a dragon on your next turn, on the following turn. So it's hard to actually have a dragon in your hand. So you have to actually resolve Ravine to be able to search for the Phalanx. Because Phalanx is your only other dragon in this deck. And then you're going to have to reveal the Phalanx and keep him in your hand if you want to continue to lock out your opponents. Pretty much their entire deck. Okay, and then other cards in my side deck are DD Crow. So DD Crow is actually searchable by Gay Dirge again, so you can actually just search for DD Crow and then dump something out of your hand. And this acts as a form of interruption against decks that utilize the graveyard very frequently. So you can just DD Crow the target for Pot of Avarice, for example, or if you're playing against scraps, you can just DD Crow the target that Chimera is targeting, so they can't make their scrap dragon. I play the one Iron Wall because in case you're playing against agents and they want to be able to banish, you have that option to be able to stop them from bringing out Hyperion. You also stop Chaos from bringing out BLS. I only play one. It's not searchable, but if I have it, it's really good because this with the Stardust is really, really strong. And then I don't want to flood my my side deck with a lot of traps because this deck is already heavy on spells as it is, and you need all the spells that you can in order to win the game. And against stun matchups, I do decide the Royal Decree as well as the Eradicator Epidemic Virus. So because I'm able to make Dot Ruler with only one card or Colossal Fighter with only one card, the Eradicator allows me to tribute off the Colossal Fighter or the Dot Ruler. And then if I'm playing against a trap heavy deck, I just call traps and destroy every single trap in their hand. The ruling with this against Starlight Road is if the face down cards are unknown trap cards, or if the face down card is cards that you don't know if it's a trap card and you call trap cards, they can't activate Starlight Road if nobody knows it, if both players don't know it's a Starlight Road. So if both players don't know that they're all traps, so Eradicator actually circumvents the Starlight Road as well. So if you resolve this against stun decks that like to use a lot of traps, you're pretty much winning. And Decree is for that same reason. This is why I don't play the Decree line as well. Eradicator also has other applications as well. If you're playing against a spell heavy deck, such as Burn or Hero, you can resolve this card, call spells, and they pretty much can't burn you or whatever it is that they use to consistently burn you. And then heroes will lose all their Miracle Fusion and their Gemini Sparks, as well as their Duality. And if you play this against Gravekeepers, you can call spells, and then you can just hit every single spell in their hand. Granted, it's only going to be like Gravekeeper Stell and Necro Valley as their only spell cards that they probably play, and then Duality and Roll Tribute too. So that's a card that you can side deck for us, the sackiness. And then we have the Blackhorn Heaven, because this card is a card that can just out the synchro monsters that you fear. So they make a Brionac, for example, or a Orient Dragon uses Blackhorn Heaven it. This also is useful against agents where they have their big monsters. They can just slam on the board. You can just use Blackhorn Heaven to negate and destroy that monster. And then I have the 2 Malefic Stardust Dragon. The reason why I play 2 is because I could protect my field spell from being MST'd in the event that I don't want, if I don't have my MST in my hand, to be able to clear out their MST. I can just special summon the Malefic Stardust Dragon and then use the effect of Ravine, so it's not a 2-for-1. A lot of times people are going to wait for you to discard a card for cost with Ravine, and if they do that, then you could yeah, then they'll get a 2-for-1. But what you can do is activate the Ravine from your hand and then special summon this as inherent, and then now this protects the Ravine from being being destroyed by a card effect. Malefic Stardust Dragon is also a dark monster. That's 2,500 attack, so you can actually use it for Eradicator. That's another application you can use for Malefic Stardust Dragon. And on top of that, if you don't want him on the board anymore because he has this really limiting ability where you can't attack with other monsters besides it, you can actually synchro this away for Trident Dragon because this is a level 8 monster. You can just summon the Failing somehow and then synchro summon into Trident Dragon and then try to like pretty much try to go for lethal, or just use it so that you can get the Malefic Stardust Dragon out of the way. I said one more Veiler just in case I need the extra interruption for against decks that don't use that rely on the normal summon to resolve. So I guess the mirror match for Dragunities, you can Veiler their Ducks. Against Scraps, you can hit their Chimera. Against against BLS and Chaos Sorcerer, you can just Veiler it so they can't attack after they use their effect. Has a lot of utility. That's why I decided to side the third copy. And then I have the 2 Forbidden Lance because in case I want to deal with damage type tricks, I can use the Forbidden Lance so that I don't force like Gemini Spark, for example. So that's the 2 cards I play. This also is very useful against when you have the Stardust out there and you attack directly with Stardust and they try to depresent him or compulse him. You have the Lance to protect the Stardust from being banished, from being either banished or returned back to your deck. So that's oh, and I also have one more compulsory. So one more compulsory for the side deck to be able to deal with any fusion monsters or any extra deck monster that just gets really pesky. So yeah, that's the main deck. I have some gameplay videos for this particular deck. So if you guys are curious about how the deck can flow turn by turn, you guys can watch it on a different video. But for now, this is the deck profile video. So just keep that in mind. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much the video for you guys. I'll see you guys on the next Tengu Plant video, and I hope to see you guys more in the future. Peace.